What's up guys, I'm Mitch from the DIYrecordingstudio.com, and today we're going to be having a look at the part 2 of how to create chords from any key signature whatsoever. So welcome back to the channel guys, and thanks so much to everyone that has been subscribing to my channel so far. It's a very small channel at this stage, but it means a lot to have all you guys starting to subscribe and watch and comment on my videos. It's what makes me want to keep coming back and making more content for you all. So thanks again to all of you that have subscribed or commented down below. And if you're new to the channel, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and if there's any content or any questions that you have for me, make sure you hit me up in the comment sections down below. And before we start this video, I recommend you watch the part 1 of this video that we did a couple of weeks ago, and I'll put that up here. And that was all about how to find the notes of a scale for any key signature. And we'll be using that as the foundation to find any chord for any key signature. So if you haven't watched that video yet, you definitely should go watch that first before watching this one, because it'll help a lot, and you really need that foundation before we move on to figuring out the chords. So make sure you check out that video first. But if you've already watched that video, let's get into it. So a couple of weeks ago, we looked at the circle of fifths, and it's this guy right here. Okay, and in that we learned, it shows us all the major keys on the outside here, and then it shows us their relative minor keys, and that every major key has a relative minor key. Okay, kind of like a yin yang. That's always the way I like to sort of think about it. And then the circle of fifths also shows us another thing above that. It shows us how many sharps or how many flats are in each key signature. Okay, and we learned that you don't actually need to be able to read this stave up here to know what sharps these are on this side or what flats they are on this side. And the quick way I can explain that is that this sharp here is an F, and we start over here, and then for every other subsequent sharp we just move around the circle of fifths. But you should definitely go watch the video from last week. So if you're in the key of G, that sharp is an F sharp there. Okay, and if you're in the key of D, okay, those two sharps are an F and then a C, and then so on. So for the key of A, it's F, C, and G. All right, the circle of fifths just has these patterns that come out of it, and basically that's really what we're learning as a hack. Okay, and so if we want to figure out flats, okay, we have one flat in the key of F, and it's a B flat, and so you just move anti-clockwise. With sharps, we move clockwise. With flats, we move anti-clockwise. Okay, so for B flat, it has two flats, and they are B and E. Okay, and then for A flat, it has four flats, so it's B, E, A, and D flat, and it just works that way. Really, really easy hack to figure out the notes in any key signature. And what we did, we went through some of these keys, and we wrote them out, and then we added in the respective sharps. So the key of C has no sharps or flats. So what we do is we spell out the letters first, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and then we put in any sharps or flats, but C doesn't have any. But when we went to G, okay, G has one sharp, and it's an F sharp because we always start at the F and work our way around. So what you do to write out that key is you go G, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then you make the F the sharp. And it's the same for every single key. If we went to the key of E major, okay, E major's here, and it has four sharps. So we just started on F and go F, C, G, and D. They're going to be our sharps. F, C, G, D. So we wrote out all the letters, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and then made the sharps F, C, G, and D. Easy, right? So now the trick is, how do we make our chords? Well, we've kind of already figured out the chords. We just don't realize it yet, because the chords for that key signature have to be made up of the notes from the scale. For now, for the basic majors and minors that we're doing, we can only use the 7 notes of the scale for that key signature, right? So we've already figured out those 7 notes. So the chords have to be made from those 7 notes. So here's part 2 of the hack, right? So this is how we figure out the chords. It's a simple game. Let's go back to C major. So first off, let's delete all of these other ones that we came up with. We'll get back to them later, and we'll just start on the key of C. Okay, keep it nice and easy. Now, we've got our scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and they're the notes we can use to make our chords, okay, to stay in key. The simple game we have to play is just a game of jumping the notes, okay? To build the C chord, all you then do is jump the next note and land on the second note away from that, okay? So a C chord goes C, you skip the D, jump over to the E, and then jump over that to the G. Okay, you go C, skip D, and skip F, and you just jump. Okay, and we end up with our first chord being C, and it is C, E, and G. And that's a C chord. Okay, and I'm going to play that for you in 1 second. If I go into Cubase, let's have a look. And if you want to see our notes over here, they're on the left that I'll be playing. Okay, and you'll see them light up. This is our C down here, C2, then the E, and then the G. And that's a C chord, C, E, G. And that happens to be a C major. We don't need to get into majors and minors just yet for chords, okay, but it's a C major. So the next step is I want to make the D chord. So we do the exact same thing. We go D, jump the E, go to F. So we go like this to F, D, F, skip the G, and go to A. Okay, so our D chord equals D, F, A. Okay, and that sounds like this. And then we can keep going for all the chords. Okay, we go E, skip the next note, go to the G, skip the next note, go to the B. Okay, so we end up with E, G, B. And that sounds like this. So we now have our first 3 chords. And we can keep going. Okay, so let's do all the rest of them. So F equals F, A. Now it's not B, we go back to the C. So we go F, skip the G, A, skip the B, back to C. F equals F, A, whoop, C, whoop. Okay, G is G, skip the A, go to B, and then to D. G, B, D, whoop. A goes A, skip the B to C, skip the D to E. So A, C, E. And B's the last one, and it goes B, D, F. Oop, B, D, F. Alrighty. And that's our 7 chords. Okay, I'm going to play them in order on the piano. This is C. And this is our D chord. And this is our E chord. This is our F chord. This is our G chord. Our A chord. Our B chord. And then we go back to our C chord. And you can play those chords in any order now. Okay, so if you want to create a song, you can play any of those chords in whatever order you want. You could start on the C, go to the G chord, go to the F chord, go to the A chord, go back to the G chord. If you wanted to, go to the high C. All right. And you can basically write any song in that key with those chords. And you've got 7 chords to work with, but you can also play any of the notes from the scale over the top of those. So, for instance, let's play a C chord. Then we're going to go D minor. Definitely not a masterpiece by any means, but you can hear that harmonically it all works, okay? I'm not a piano player, so please bear with me. I'm definitely no genius when it comes to theory or piano or keys or anything like that. I'm absolutely a hack, but what I'm just trying to show you is that harmonically it all works together. Okay, and this is an easy way to get started in your songwriting. And just so you know, the order of chords, okay, we haven't said whether they're majors or minors yet. So the rule with the chords goes C, the second chord is a minor, so a D minor. The third chord is always a minor, okay. The fourth chord is always a major. The fifth chord is always a major. The sixth chord is always a minor. And the seventh is a special chord that we call a diminished. Okay, dim or diminished. So the rule is always major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Okay. If you want to figure out how to write in any key signature, how you do it is you write out the scale first. Okay, if it's C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then figure out the chords. Okay, and then do major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and diminished. Let's do another one. Let's go to the key of, let's do D major. I like the key of D, it's pretty nice. Let's do D major. So we write out the key of D, key of D major. So we do exactly what we did last week. D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. Then we've got to figure out the sharps and flats. It's got 2 sharps, okay? So they're going to be F and then C. All right. Remember, if you get stuck on this, you can always go back to our video last week. F is a sharp and C is a sharp. So now let's write out our chords like we did before. D is D, jump E, go to F sharp, jump G, go to A. So D is D, F, sharp, A. And that's the D chord in the key of D major. Okay, let's do the same for the rest. E, E, jump to G, jump to B. Okay, A, G, B. F sharp. Okay, F sharp, jump to A, jump to C sharp. F sharp, jump to A, jump to C sharp. And so on, right? G goes G, B, D. G, B, D. A. Okay, and I'm sure you're getting the point now, right? A is A, C sharp, and then E. B, B, D, F sharp. Oops. It's big. And then our last one, C sharp, equals C sharp, E, and G. And that's all the chords within the key of D major. Okay, so now we've got to do the last step, which is putting in whether they're majors or minors. Okay, and it's the same rule every time. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So let's go in that order. Major, then minor, then minor, then major, major, 6th one is minor, and the last one is always a diminished. And they're the chords. Okay? Let's just have a quick play of those. So we'll go into Cubase. Alrighty. Now remember, I'm not a piano player, so I'm a bit of a hack at this stuff, but D is D major this time, instead of D minor in the C. Alright, D major. We've got a E minor. Okay. Then, when we get to the F, it's a sharp. So we need F sharp, A, C sharp. F sharp, A, C sharp. Okay, so the first chords are okay. Then we go to a G, then an A major, okay, then C diminished, which is, and I'll check, C sharp, E, G. And I'm not very good at playing all those chords, I'll admit. But if I was going to write a song, I know the notes that I can use and I can easily place them wherever I want within my DAW. Okay, this is just a songwriting tool. This is a songwriting tool for you to figure out chords. You don't have to be the best at performing the chords, but it gives you the ability to write songs within a key signature and then the notes that you could then play over the top of that. So let's just have a quick look at the D major chord. That is the first chord of the key. That's D, F sharp, A. And then I can play any note within that scale. So I can play a D note, I can play an E note, an F sharp, a G, an A, a B, or a C sharp, right? Alrighty. So it gives you a lot more options. So what you might not know is that these chords that we've just learned how to build by playing that jump rule are called triads. Okay, so we've just built triads within those key signatures. Okay. But what if I was to tell you we can go a step further and create even more interesting chords? Okay, what we call 7th chords. I get asked a lot, all right, I can create triad chords, but how do I create 7th chords? Well, it's actually just playing the same game. So what we'll do is delete all these chords. Okay, because they're going to go back to what they were. And then go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. They're the notes of the scale that we build our chords from. And the D, so for D, remember, we went D, skipped it, skipped a note, went to F sharp, skipped a note, went to A. And that gave us our D chord. Okay, and it gives us 3 notes, and that's why they're called a triad chord. Okay, 3 notes, triad. All right, real simple. But then there's the next level of chords, which we call 7th chords. So if we wanted to create the next level of chord, a 7th chord, which can sound more interesting, okay, the triads can be a bit boring, but the 7ths can be very interesting. Guess what we do next? You might guess it. Well, basically, we just skip to the next note again. So we go D, skip, jump over to F sharp, jump over to A, and then we jump over to the C sharp and add C sharp to the chord. Okay, if I jump into Cubase again, we go D, F sharp, A, and C sharp. And that is a D major 7. Okay? And when we add that 7th note in from the triad, we know we've got the major chord there, D, F sharp, A, happy sounding chord. But when we add in that 7th, we get this jazzier, more textured sound. And it sounds quite pretty. And it adds a lot more character to your chords. Okay? So all you need to do is the same thing for each letter. Okay, E, oops, E, G, B, skip the C, go to D. So we add a D there. Oops. All right. F sharp from here, A to C sharp to E. All right. G, B, D, then to F sharp. Oops. We'll do the same thing for everyone. So this one was on E, so we jump to a G. A, C, E, then G. B, D, F sharp, so a B, jump to D, F sharp, and then to A. Okay. A, and then C, E, G, C sharp, E, G, B. And there's our 7th chords, right? And the 7th chords have a different group of names, okay? The D is a major 7. The E is a minor 7. The 3rd one is a minor 7. The 4th one is a major 7. The next one is a dominant 7, so just a 7. The next one is a minor 7. And the next one is a tricky one that we call a diminish with a flat 5. Okay? It's a tricky one why it's called that. Let's not get into too much of why that's called the diminished flat 5. Okay? But that's what that one's called. It's a more complicated version of the diminished. Okay? But if you add in those notes, you get a much more sophisticated sounding chord group, and it sounds a bit more interesting. Okay? So if we went like, okay, so we've got D, F sharp. There's our first chord, the D major 7. Okay, and then we go to an E minor 7. And just with those 2 chords, we're getting so much more texture. All right, and you get this bluesy, jazzy kind of vibe, right? If we go to the F sharp, F, A, C sharp, E. Okay, so the G there. And then let's try the A dominant. See. All right, and then we get this real tense chord. All right. And that's how we do 7s. So let's do one more. We'll go back to C and add in the others for this. So let's have another practice, right? Let's take our chords back to what they were before. C, D, E, F, G. Oops. Let's go again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So C, E, G, C, jump to E, jump to G, jump to B. All right, C, E, G, B. And that's our first chord, okay? D, F, A, back to C. All right, E for the E chord. E, G, B, back to D. And this is just how we get our seventh chords, all right? You just jump back to another letter. F, A, C, and then E. All right, G, which is G, B, D, and then F. All right, A to C to E to G. And then B is B, D, jump to F, jump to A. Okay. And then we follow the same name scheme as we did before. Major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, diminished flat 5. Okay, so it is here, major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G dominant 7, so it's just the 7 there, A minor 7, and B diminished flat 5. So it's always the same pattern for any key signature. You figure out the scale, okay? You figure out the sharps and flats that are in that scale. Okay, so you write out, if it's A, go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Find out the sharps or the flats, okay? Then you play this jump game to build the chords. And if you want just triads, you start on the note and jump twice. If you want sevenths, you jump 3 times and you get that. And the reason why they're called seventh chords is because if you start on the first note, well, let's start on C. If you go C, D to E, that's the third. Fourth, you jump to the fifth, then you jump to the seventh. Okay? And that's why they're called seventh chords, because you're adding the seventh in. Same with the D, right? D, you jump to its third, which is the F, to its fifth, which is the A, and then to its seventh, which is the C. Okay? You don't really need to think about why that is or whatever. You just need to know that it gives that the seventh chords give you more character and a more jazzy, sort of vibey kind of tone. And that can be very, very handy to create the right sound that you want in your song. And what you might not realize is that lots and lots of songs are written with these basically what we call standard chord progressions, and some of them have seventh chords in there. And one of the most famous ones is like a 2-5-1, where you've got the 2, where you've got the 2. So the 2 is the D minor 7 for the key of C. If we're in the key of C here, the 2 chord, the second chord is the D minor 7. Then the fifth chord, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the G7, the dominant 7, and the 1 is the C. So if I play those chords in succession, the 2, the D minor 7, this one, okay, D minor 7, D, A, F, A, C. Then I go up to the G, and then I go down to the C. Now you have definitely heard this chord progression before. If you know the song Sunday Morning by Maroon 5, it's a class based on a classic jazz standard. So that 2-5-1 is basically what it's based around. The chords are slightly inverted, and there's lots more you can do to change these chords up, but it's based on that 2-5-1. Okay, and remember, I'm not a piano player, so this is a bit of a hack. And so that's the hack to building any chord in any key signature. We looked at triad chords within a key signature, and we also looked at seventh chords. And there's obviously many more options to building chords once you know these basic rules. But these are the fundamental chords and scales that you can use when you first start writing songs. You don't have to stick to them. You can go outside the key signature, but this is just a way to get you writing in a key very quickly and very easily. So I hope this helps you in all of your songwriting, whether it be writing your own material, or if you're producing or tuning vocals and you need to build more complex harmonies, you can definitely use these triad and seventh chords to create any of those kind of harmonies within vocal tuning or within your own songs. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like down below and don't forget to click subscribe. And if you've got any questions, please hit me up in those comments sections down below. And if you want to see how to do any more theory on scales or chord building, make sure you let me know. I'm Mitch from the DIY recording studio.com, and I'll catch you soon.